Hello, welcome to our second week of the RSC podcast. This is the first time you're probably going to be seeing our faces unless you're at land. So I'm Brave New World.
I'm a dead moose.
And today we have a special guest presenter, ViperStrike, with us. Sadly, Cobra Kai was not able to make it to our production today because everyone had a crazy week, so we had to do it on a different day than our normal production day. So I'd like to welcome Mr. ViperStrike.
Hey guys, I begged them because last time was way too much fun. So I just annoyed them till they let me come back.
Yeah,
he
annoyed us so much that we said he actually comes like, oh, but I have plans, so he canceled those plans to be here with us tonight.
This is true.
We're just that special.
Yeah, we're just that special. Were they with your wife?
No, it was well, both of us were gonna go out with other people, and then they canceled. So.
I was gonna kind of hold
I was later on I guess I'll answer with your wife, and I know how badly that winds up, right, Linz? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it was too long, didn't read. We have ViperStrike this week because we're on an off day for production, so it doesn't work for Cobra Kai. However, we look forward to seeing him next week in episode 3.
Yeah, our self-appointed production manager.
Yeah, self-appointed production manager. So we have a good episode put together for you tonight. We're going to start off with itonydelatorre to talk about some of the rule changes that have come to RC to make sure that all of you guys are up to date on the rules and don't get in any trouble.
Not to mention, yeah, Tony can probably shed light of anything that's fun that's going on right now in the GM hub ever since they booted me out.
He's our inside man at this point. Then we're going to bring on RJ and Lazaryo?
Lazaryo, yeah.
Yes, Lazaryo. I just know him as Laz. To talk about their time at RLCS Worlds in Madrid. And then we're going to end it with some fun, a fun game that we came up with, top 10 not to do things as an FA if you want to get picked up by a GM.
Also, real quick pop quiz for you there, Brave. Do you know the franchise names of RJ and Tony here?
RJ is easy. I know them both. Tony because he's Tony, and he's my rival since I first started playing this league.
All right, so what is this? What is Tony?
The Abyss.
He's the Abyss? Okay. And what about RJ there?
RJ is, she has Jurassic Park.
That's her top one. Not quite Jurassic Park. Dino Park.
I just remember she has a Jurassic Park emblem, and I looked at that and I'm like, we're getting sued. It's like, don't wear the temp emblem.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get the temp emblems fixed, and let's bring him in here.
Alright, so we're going to bring Tony on in. Hopefully he's doing something embarrassing.
That's always fun.
We're going to bring Tony in here. I'm going to not build tracks on. Alright, Tony!
How's it going, guys?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I was just going to answer a question for RJ, and now I'm here. So.
Okay.
You want to answer that question to us with no pleading?
No, we're good. Go ahead.
Please give us the answer.
Oh, she's asking, like, how many...
No, you're not supposed to say.
Oh, right.
You're supposed to just give the answer.
I don't know, like 2.2.
Okay, 2.2.
Wait,
That's not the right answer, Tony.
wait, kilometers or kilograms? Because that...
Kilometers in a mile.
Kilometers in a mile. 1.6.
Whatever. Close enough.
Why do we look like a little cat,
I guess it's a good thing that I didn't give her the answer then.
All right. Good.
Right,
Yeah,
cool.
good thing we got you in here. All right, John, ask him about the rules.
Alright, so Tony, before I break some rules, tell me what the rules are. I remember you were telling me earlier about the strike number changed.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, like, in theory, that would be the biggest change we made, but it's not going to affect too many people. So,
Not many people
first
get
change...
strikes, right?
Yeah, so there's, like, 40 strikes that we hand out a season generally. And most people never get more than one, so it's not going to affect many people. But we lowered the ban threshold on normal strikes from 6 to 5.
Freya, don't knock the camera.
The dog's approaching the camera. Hey there, Freya. Yeah, that'll deal with that.
All right.
All right, cool. I'll continue.
And the main reason being, so like obviously, like I said, most people don't get more than one strike, but a few people get multiple strikes. But generally, what we notice is as soon as like an actual consequence besides a Discord timeout's on the table, like a game suspension or a ban is on the table, they stop. So we just push that up one strike. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
No,
for sure.
I would say, do you anticipate? Well, what's it? In the past, I guess there were some. Well,
There were some interesting occurrences.
recent cops.
Certain people that shall not be named,
Yeah.
who
But
are
most-
brilliant people.
But yeah, I mean, generally it's fine, so it's not going to affect many people. But hopefully, it'll help with like the people that do get to that point stop a little earlier.
Yeah. And then also, abuse got changed from a normal offense to a serious offense, I recall.
Yeah. So the way an abuse strike works is we have like a lesser rule, which is like general toxicity towards someone else. So to get an abuse,
Which
Sorry,
quickly,
go ahead.
like, for example, like, if branch toxicity is something like, hey, Viper, you shit at this game.
sorry, say that again. You kind of cut out.
Hey, Viper, you shit at this game. Would be a toxicity abuse rule, right?
Yeah, it could be a toxicity strike. So, yeah, you take a toxicity strike. So, the way abuse works is after you've had 3 of those specifically directed at one person, then you would get an abuse strike. So, if you're continually doing that, we figured that it's probably serious enough that a normal strike doesn't cut it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we moved that from normal to serious. So, now carries more weight if you do get to that point.
Okay, so what you're saying is I really need to stop picking on my amateur and
Yeah,
contender
stop.
teams and start being a little bit nicer to them in general.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I'm gonna have to let Mesmer know to stop fighting with minors.
Oh, God. No, we can't talk about that. No, Frey, don't. No, don't. Don't do the camera. Don't do the camera.
No.
Also, make sure you guys move a little bit closer. You're cutting out when you pull back a little bit.
All right. Get nice and tight.
Yay, production.
Yay. Thank you, Viper.
Drop Viper.
I'm not cutting anything.
You're gonna have to cut twice, but that's okay.
Yeah.
No,
All right,
no, we
so
already
then,
did that in the preseason.
The final one you said was that we have a focus now on no swearing at people, as in no directing swear words at people in an offensive way, correct?
Yeah. Swearing is like, I mean, me personally, I prefer if like people weren't just swearing left and right, but it's technically not against the rules as long as you're not directing at another person. And it was already a rule, but we had gotten kind of like lax in enforcing it. There's been like, as the Discord gets bigger, it's not exactly like a good look for new members to come in and see people swearing at each other. So it's mostly just a heads up that it's going to start being enforced a little bit more from now on.
So I'm going to
So-
give you a scenario. Sorry, go ahead, Viper.
This just feels like the classic NFL where there's a rule that's in place, but now they're just emphasizing it, so the refs
Yeah.
are just focusing on it a little bit more.
Right, yeah, that's all that was. It was already a rule. It's nothing new. So,
I'm also going to make sure that I need to start putting commas right where in inappropriate places. So I'm going to just be like, comma, or no, sorry,
Think of your grammar. I'm one drinking.
sorry,
Wow.
comma, you, Tony, are the greatest GM in the history of RC.
yeah, then anytime you compliment me, whether it's swearing or not, that's fine.
Okay, so, yeah. But
But if you take that comma out and remove the greatest gem ever, that's just Tony. That's not okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, unless we're being as a positive proposition, then.
I realize we're going to have to bleep the first segment of this
Oh,
heavily.
I'm looking forward to
It gives you full of
editing.
new editing.
Yeah, there goes the whole no editing thing. We're also going to have to worry about the video because apparently, despite a fully charged battery, it's not lasting long. Also, the dog's doing things. And podcasting is harder than we anticipated. And I don't know what to do with my hands. So,
That's why I have this. Just plug it. All right. So I didn't miss any rules, correct, Tony?
No, I think you covered all the recent changes that we made. So,
All right. Awesome. So we're gonna send you back to the waiting room, and we will see you later for our fun game later on.
all right, sounds good. Looking forward to it.
oh, so hopefully nobody fell
Hey there.
asleep in
Hello.
RJ, wakey wakey.
Nope.
Concussion protocol. What? RJ.
She's muted.
Yes.
Wait.
RJ, you're muted if you didn't realize. Or
Is
you're
she
asleep.
muted, self-muted, or are we muting her?
She might be. That's a good question. She's self-muted. She's unmuted herself.
Wait.
It's forcing me to use push to talk. Sorry, hi.
Oh, sorry. I can change your role. No, fix that probably.
No worries, no worries. I'm here. I am ready to roll.
Yay.
Okay, you probably can. You're probably free of push to talk now. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, we will worry. We will worry a lot.
We will worry about so much.
This production is going to need some heavy edits.
Last time we did permissions, Jimmy gave everyone admin in the server, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I thought he was only giving me admin until Wolfie messaged me. He's like, did one of you guys give everyone admin? I'm like, no. He's supposed to give me admin. Well, everyone's admin right now. I'm like, oh no. Anywho's, so Laz and RJ, you both were at RLCS Worlds in Madrid recently.
Correct.
Yepper pepper.
Yeah. Was this your first time in Spain?
Oh, first time.
Also,
First
yes.
time like flying out of the United States. So
¿Es español muy bueno or es muy mal?
No.
Oh, we need some bilingual.
Where's Eclipse when you need him? Because he's probably the best Spanish that we've got available.
Juanma's fluent, apparently.
Yeah.
Wanma is fluent. Actually, I was preparing with Wanma. Big shout out to my boy because I've been learning Spanish my whole life, and he says, in his own words completely, that I sound like a filthy American, but that I've got the grammar down. So we practiced a lot of stuff with pronunciation, and I had a good time. Something I was not prepared for in Spain was liberal usage of swear words, which I've never learned because Wanma didn't teach me those.
Wow.
Oh shoot! Do we have to censor that too?
Yes, we do. Omar listens to this podcast, I hear, so he'll know what that means.
Oh no!
We don't censor it. Which ones do I have to censor?
I don't know.
I'll ask him tomorrow.
Well, no.
I know my one.
Yeah.
So when you guys are in Spain, obviously it's just the two of you from RSC. Did you meet any new faces? See any of the pros that you're really excited to see?
oh, I wish I wanted to meet NRG, but it was on day 3. That line was so long.
Oh gosh.
And it was unreal. Like Vitality and NRG was at that table. It was impossible when we got there.
Yeah.
No, on that one.
It always looks
RJ, one for you?
Well, there was actually one boy from RSC EU, Pops, but he doesn't really count because he's not RSC NA. And I got to see all of my favorite Spanish casters
There you
and
go.
some of my favorite English casters.
Nice. I'm just thinking of the flack that we're going to get from EU if they watch this podcast after you saying that they don't count. All right, cool. So, did you get any chances to exercise your newly acquired Spanish fluency from Wanma tutoring when you're over there? Get to experience the nightlife, get some food around there locally?
Well, Laz kind of already knows this. It was a little hard for me to find him. We actually only ended up finding each other on day 3. I might have been experiencing too much of the nightlife. I'm not old enough to drink in the States, but I am old enough to drink in Spain.
There you go. Oh God, that could go poorly. We have a dog running for a treat. Yeah. Yeah, I know we really enjoyed checking out nightlife in New York, so can you believe you? Any crazy stories you want to share, or what stays in Madrid happens in Madrid?
Off the record.
Off the record? All right,
Okay.
cool. Oh boy.
It was fun, and that is all that needs to be said.
I too like playing ping pong and foosball.
Yes, because that's what happens.
That's what happens at bars at night, kids. You play
Also-
ping pong and foosball.
Yeah. Also, during my Spanish learning adventures, I know that South American Spanish and European Spanish are very different. Mainly, as Javier put it to me, Barcelonans always lisp when they're doing the Spanish. Now,
This was Madrid though, so.
but yeah, it was It was
I
very
think that
diff-
it's all. I've heard that it's all people in Spanish kind of have that accent. In Spain, not Spanish.
Yeah, because that was the thing is that, yeah, I was trying to learn Spanish from 2 different sources, and one was from, Spanish for Dummies, and the guy was from Barcelona, and there was a lot of those softer like THs and everything else, and then meanwhile the Colombian girl I was trying to impress at the time, I would try and say some of those words, and it just didn't work. So. Not saying the relationship ended that because of that, but my Espanol es muy mal, as always.
Espanol es muy bueno. Yeah.
It happens to the best of us. Just because Laz didn't want me to bring this up, there's a picture that is
No.
next to the RSC ball, and we look like absolute goblins. If you want to put that in the podcast.
Okay, we can put that, and then we can put in the absolute mob of us. Oh god, the dog barked.
Sorry, I didn't even hear bark.
We can put in the absolute mob from New Jersey too, so you can see that one. Since I didn't think to put that in last time.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Viper, do you have any questions? You may treat the witness as hostile.
No, I think it's pretty well covered. So, trying to meet the pros, even at New Jersey, was tough. The lines were forever long, and then, all the nightlife and fun stuff that we talked about in the first podcast. All the
when we were in New Jersey, I saw like Scrub Killer like walking by like just 4 or 5 times, just in the crowd, pretty much. And honestly, I just think of Crane being like, all he does is cry on stage. And just like Crane, just be nice. He's a kid. Looks like he's gonna cry.
Well, I'd cry too if I just found out I was winning $1 million for RLCS winnings. But the other thing,
I'd cry when I realized I was splitting it 3 ways.
Oh no. I cried when I realized I was on the futon in our room of 5 people and only 2 beds. It was either that or Spoon Viper. I'm not really sure which one I wanted to go for.
I don't know how you. Okay, yeah, that's how you end up with a futon. All right, now we're going to throw Laz back out and bring Tony back in for our fun little GM game. Laz, you're going to enjoy that. Thank you for being here. And you're going to enjoy watching this later, I'm sure. This GM game, we've kept it quiet from them, so they don't know what to expect.
All right.
All right, see you later.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
All right. So given that it was cut week, we thought it'd be a good idea to give the new FAs some ideas on how to attract GM attention and how they shouldn't try to attract GM attention.
Yes, because unfortunately, not all press is good press in this particular instance. Because, believe it or not, GMs talk. They do communicate, and as funny as it would be to see, Tony pick up somebody who's a complete dirtbag, I would feel personally terrible if I traded him someone who I knew was not ideal.
Also, GMs are people too, so they do not necessarily appreciate being harassed or even bothered constantly by the massive amount of FAs we have. As can I have a spot on your team?
All right, so here's our little game. Basically, John and I and Viper. I don't know if Viper, did you get in?
Oh, he made a list.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I did.
So we all made lists. John said 10 things, or sorry, Brave said 10 things. Same difference. We're gonna come up with a variety of ideas for FAs to do, or that they could do, and you're gonna tell us whether or not that this is gonna be, a bad idea or a worse idea. Because most of the things we brainstormed were not positive things.
Most of the things we brainstorm may be a little bit extreme too.
All right.
All right, so let's
I
start.
may have an entire list of do nots.
All right, so let's start with something, but let's start with something relatively benign, right? You get cut, and I'm sad, but I'm hopeful. I want to get on a new team, and I think RJ is a pretty cool GM. So I DM RJ, slide in those DMs and just be like, hey RJ, I hear your prospect team could use another player. I could be that player. What do you think?
That has definitely happened to me this off season, and I'd say I'm okay with it. Everyone just kind of blurs together, and by the time people usually message me, I just kind of say no.
Okay. Now, Tony, how do you feel about receiving a direct message from a free agent that is looking to be ambitious, try and join a team?
Yeah, I mean, I can like appreciate that they're really trying to get on a team, but I mean, if I'm like, I would say your better bet is to maybe post a message about yourself in the free agents channel.
Okay, so you're more of, if you're on the bull tournament board, I'll find you, but if you come to my door like a Jehovah's Witness, I'm probably going to shut the door in your face.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'd say you're probably just wasting your time. Like, I'll probably be out there looking if I really need someone. Otherwise, at the time, I'm probably happy with my team where it's at. So,
Okay, fair enough. I know for myself, for the short stint that I was out there, I've definitely had a few people message me looking to join a team, and I think there was maybe one time where it actually panned out in their favor. I think that was because Lockdown was actually apologizing for something he did in scrims, combines, because he kept running around demoing everybody. And then that drew him to my attention. I realized
That's pre-draft even though.
Yeah, I realized he was really good, and I brought him on board. And then halfway through the season, he unambiguously left. So
The story didn't have a happy ending for us.
Yeah, that season didn't have a lot of happy endings for anybody.
I was gonna say when I was in as AGM, my view on it was cool to, also when I was an FA too, it was cool to like post in the FA chat saying like, hey, I'm really excited to play for a team and stuff. But when it got to direct messaging GMs, that felt it was stepping over a bit of a line there, because these GMs, if every FA started messaging them, they could not deal with having that much traffic in their DMs on top of normal GM stuff. And if they were looking for a player, they would say something in the FA chat.
Not to mention, half the time I would see a message, I'd look at it because I was at work, and then by the time I got home, I totally forgot to respond to it. So much like my fiance is usually annoyed with me for not reading her stuff, it's not that I didn't read it, it's just that I read it and totally forgot about it. And that's why I'm sleeping outside in the tool shed. Somebody please save me. Alright, mostly kidding. And I know, I also know too that there have been some players who have taken it to basically full-on advertising, where they not message just one GM, but every GM.
This sounds like one of my list ideas.
So if you're an FA, we're going to put that on the do not do that category.
Messaging all GMs.
All right, Viper, let's get you in on the next one. What do you got here for us?
Well, that was my first one, because that one I feel like was pretty obvious, is spamming GMs with tryout requests. So, it's not a terrible idea, but it's not very effective. So there's other ways. Another one I had was kind of talking bad about someone who ended up getting rostered when you got cut.
Oh yeah. That's
All right, Tony, what do you think?
yeah, that's one that we see a couple times every season. That's like a really bad idea, because, I mean, attitude is a big important one. Somebody that gets along with the team, and if you're trash talking your old team, then I'm not even gonna look at you again.
RJ, where do you stand on that?
Respect is everything. I'm with Tony.
All right. That's
And then just on top of that, I don't know how many people know that there's, quote, like salary caps in a lot of the tiers. So
in all
sometimes you are better than the person that was kept. You're just too expensive.
Yeah.
And I know that the formulas and all that stuff are pretty well behind top secret doors, but I know that it is a thing, and sometimes it's useful to know that.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people that are new to the league might not realize that, yeah, they're not keeping necessarily the 4 best players for that team. They're keeping the 4 best players that will maximize the team's chances within the allowable rules. the rules that GMs play by are a little bit different than what the players have to worry about. And that's the other thing too, as an FA. If you do get cut, it's definitely not the end of the road, because you might be a good player, and where one team might not have a spot for your particular position, whether it's either,
playstyle conflicts or your salary is just too high to keep you alongside another good player.
But most of the other tiers also have 31 other teams and franchises to look at, so, you still have a shot. So, alright, so as a general rule, don't badmouth the roster guys that were, kept over you in this particular case, because that just makes you look bad.
Yeah.
All right, John, what's...
I was going to continue off that statement. Also, you're really close to one that I thought was an important thing to bring up, which is, as an FA, if you get cut, or just as a player if you get cut, you should ask the GM about why did you get cut, get some feedback, positive criticism about what was wrong with your play, what could you improve on, or you might just find out that your play is great and it's just salary cap issues. So I think that's a really important thing to know what they didn't like, what they thought you could do better. And it definitely really helps with knowing for you to improve yourself as a player, or know that you're actually in a really good place and that you just need to find a team that has room. So now on to my ideas.
Oh boy. Oh no. Alright, what do you got for us?
Alright. So, I'm an FA, and I'm also a musical artist. So I think that I should at all GMs in FA chat my mixtape. How do you respond?
I listened to the mixtape first.
But what about at all GMs?
I mean, I hope that I listen to it before they do, and if it's good, I hope that I sign you first. No, but adding all GMs definitely annoys some GMs, so I'd probably not do that.
How about you, RJ?
I'm not head of the mod committee, but I think that might be a strike-worthy offense.
Yeah, misusing group teams.
I'll make sure not to post my mixtape anywhere then.
Yeah. Granted, if you do want to drop a hot mixtape, apparently the EM...
It's full.
Camera check. Cool. We're good.
Yeah, who posted that song that was actually pretty good? Someone from your franchise, right?
Yeah, I guess we can keep going while Linz wipes the camera card here, so I can get 5 minutes of derpiness in. But yeah, if you want to drop a hot mixtape, the general chat for EM is an okay place to do that, because I think that was Dale Radlin the third who decided to drop.
Don't do it on the table.
I know. I just thought.
Drop a mixtape there. Speaking of which, apparently Thunderama messaged me and said he's going to be working on a intro track for the RSC podcast, which may or may not be formally known as the RSC podcast, but will be known in the future, once I get my words right, as the Triple Commit.
Yeah, the Triple Commit. Got 3 hosts, Triple Commit, inspired by Tony's Sometimes You Gotta Be Sure shirt.
Sometimes you just have to be sure.
Yeah. Shout out to Jay if you're listening.
Oh yeah, Jay was the one that did that. He was going by JK Madness at that point, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I just remember adding you with that, and I was like, that's some good shade right there.
He was the inspiration for that shirt.
I need one of these shirts.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of which, shameless promotional thing here. The RSC store does exist. It's pinned in the league discussion. So if you want some franchise merch, go check it out.
Yeah. There's plenty of swag that you can wrap your waste management shirt, your EM shirt.
Polar Vortex.
Thank you.
Control.
I'm running out of franchises I know the name of.
Machine.
Dog pound.
Some of these don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
If you have logos that are ready to go, you can send them to @DireWolf in the RSC. I love that name, DireWolf.
Direwolf was not available.
And DireWolf definitely explains your play style. No, wait, that's abuse. All right, sorry, I can't do that.
No, it's true.
There were no swear words. You should be okay. Unless
If a young middle school / high school boy asked you to,
Or girl.
picked you up from school, you know, and you know, Batman and Robin this this here. Also, how do you feel about being randomly asked whether or not your parents are still living?
Signing
I'm-
right there.
I'm very confused. Is this something that happened in the EM Discord?
Yes.
It certainly did, and
Oh, God.
I'm also gonna, you know, I'm gonna preface this with not something that you might want to do as an FA, but if you want to wind up an FA, this is something that you could probably do. And shout out to whoever's watching and who knows who I'm talking about.
Also, shout out to whoever did this. This was not a reason for a release at all. We
No.
would have kept you if we could.
Yeah, no, that was more salary cap because honestly, I thought this was hilarious. It just lacked some certain tact.
But we love you.
Indeed, we do. All right.
So RJ, I think that was a no from you with like a massive
Yeah,
question
it's a
mark
no.
about the situation.
Yeah.
Is it Viper's turn? I think it's Viper's turn.
It is Viper's turn.
Viper, make me proud.
Oh boy, you guys are.
It's gonna be hard to
You
top
guys
that one.
definitely. Yeah, this is difficult. So you just got cut. You're a free agent now, and you feel like your play was subpar. Would this be a good time to start messing with your controls or your camera settings to make sure that everything gets better? Because you feel like that may have been the reason why you were playing poorly.
Ooh.
Excuse me.
I mean, I feel like that's like kind of an individual thing. I mean, like depending on the tier, there could be like a genuine problem with the controls and camera settings. It depends like how many hours you put into it. I mean, it really depends. Like I mean, there could be like a genuine problem, but you also want to make sure you're not just like overreacting to being cut. So
Yeah.
I would probably say that maybe consult with somebody before you make like a big change to anything.
Okay. Can I take next on this one? Because this is a lot more of a general thing, I think, than a GM question. So I was going to say, I think that this one, a good part to start would be like, if you really think there's a problem, I'd look at like pro settings. Wikipedia has a really good database on that, and see how far away from some pro settings you differ. And maybe then, if like you're really out there and you're not near any of the pro player settings, you might want to try some of those presets and see if one of them felt a lot better to you. But if your settings are pretty close, I wouldn't want to change too much. I think like at most like maybe move one or two things, like probably like a tiny margin, like you want to do tiny increments and test it, or not at all. But yeah, don't do anything crazy. Don't like change from like a 3 degree to like a 9 degree angle and expect yourself to be hitting balls anytime soon.
Oh, I got a next one since you are unofficially sponsoring Crown at the moment.
Oh boy.
Along with your camera settings, should you adjust your alcohol intake before matches to account for changes in play?
That actually is a very good one. Yeah, if your alcohol intake's like up here, is it recording?
No.
Okay, if your alcohol intake's like really high, you might want to try lowering that. We recommend at most 3 drinks.
There is a Ballmer's Peak, and if you want to get into that a little bit more, go research him. I don't know how to spell
Actually,
Ballmer.
technically, we recommend don't drink at all during matches. But if you're going to, don't go past 3 drinks, please. Your teammates will please and thank you later. Or if it's going really bad in match 3, you might just pound a giant bottle of moonshine. And then also things that happen in the Discord.
Quick side note: we were not doing particularly well.
I won that game.
In a series.
I won that game.
Yes, you won that game. Not necessarily in the conventional way, but you won that game. Quick tangent. We were not doing well in the series, and then in game 3, I hear, I'm gonna fix this. And then the next thing I hear is the fridge opening, and then I hear glug 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 glug. And then John comes back Brave comes back and he says, "We have 5 minutes. Let's turn this around."
We have 5 minutes before this hits real bad. And we won that game.
We did
Yeah, but
win
you,
that game.
you turned it around, so I mean, it sounds like a glowing endorsement from what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
But we turned it around, and I was pretty happy at the end of that match.
yes. Yes, someone was happy.
There were some other annoyed people, but that's okay.
Yeah. Face it.
If I didn't do that before, I would not have been happy at the end of that match.
Somebody knew he was going to be playing permanent defense, while somebody knew he was going to be chasing whatever looked shiny and glowing.
And getting goals.
All right, moving on. Let's see.
I think it's your turn.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, because Viper just won.
Okay, so let's see here. So we went over alcohol. We went over camera settings. We went over being a general toxic person. I guess in addition, real quick side note, in addition to being toxic to your former team, your teammate, don't trash a GM either. They do see that, or somebody sees it, and somebody will then point it out to that GM, and then all the GMs will know about it. It's kind of like a secret sorority circle. Yes, that alliterates. All right, we'll do that. Secret sorority circle. They all talk. They all gossip. So, yeah. All right, let's see here.
Wait, you guys are gossiping?
Oh, we're the biggest guy.
We are some of the biggest gossips.
Yeah.
They run a podcast.
Not successfully or not well, but we do run one.
The GMs gossip too.
Yeah.
Or more of if someone says like bad to one GM, everyone else will hear about it. And everyone else will take note of that probably and avoid people that are disrespectful to GMs at that level.
All right, let's see here. All right, so I'm an FA, and I, just got released, and I'm angry, and I leave the Discord.
Oh!
How do you feel about that?
I don't think that's how you feel about that. I ain't telling you what the rules say.
Yeah, that's like technically illegal. I think it's like a season suspension, so
So don't
yeah,
do that.
not a good idea to leave the RSC Discord if you're planning on playing.
All right. What about the franchise Discord? How do you feel about players kind of dipping out of your franchise Discord with no warning?
Like still rostered or free agents?
Well, free agents.
Okay. For free agents, it's not. I mean, whatever you want to do. Like, I kind of get not wanting a bunch of Discords you're in that like you're not active in anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want to leave the franchise Discord, to me, it's not a big deal at all. So,
Okay. How about you, RJ?
I'd like people to stick around just in case I want subs, but usually they'll stick around if they have friends in the franchise. If they don't, then it's fine if they.
All right. Sounds good.
RJ just gave me an interesting question there. So I know when Jim and I were managing EM, we would always put FA chat first for subs, unless like we knew someone that we could reach out to directly. But that was usually pretty rare. Usually straight to FA chat. RJ and Tony, do you ping in your franchise Discords first when you look for subs before going to FA chat?
I always go to FA chat first.
RJ.
I just message my friends that I know are FAs in the tier, which is usually a decent bit.
Okay, cool. So be RJ's friend if you want to be a sub.
Wait, this is not an invitation.
All right.
Go back to point number 1. Do not spam.
Rule number 1 about being an FA, do not spam GMs. Rule number 2 about being an FA, there are no rules.
Refer back to rule 1.
Yeah.
Let's see here. All right, Viper, you got any more do nots on your list?
Directed at GMs, not really.
No, I like hearing
They're more like
crazy
general
ones.
ones.
Well, it is my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn right now.
Let's see.
Ooh, that'd be a good one, actually. I think I have like one more good one.
Go for it, Viper. Because John's clearly still thinking.
No. I've got it. So you watched Worlds once and saw Australia do a boot chuck.
No, we already went on the
Shoey?
Yes. Then you can find a Twitter video somewhere where so in Oceania there was this thing at least a couple years back where if you're playing in professional rugby league, you had to prove that you could do a boot chuck, which is you take your beer, you pour it into your shoe, and then you chug it. One of the Oceania teams did that as a on stage at Worlds. I forget which season it was.
I don't
Anyways, you show that you're a real man when you do that. Also, you
So
show
that was more than just at RSC, because there's definitely
RLCS.
race car drivers have nothing to do with Rocket League that did the same thing if they won the race. They called it a shoey, and they poured their champagne into their shoe, of which they had just spent an hour and a half in a hot, sweaty race car, and then drank it from there.
So,
Cringing about. Well,
so you
this
think
thing
that
alcohol kills
you're a real tough guy out there. You want to prove that you can be a professional Rocket League player down in Oceania. So you take a video of yourself doing a shoey or a boot chuck, real sweaty shoes. You just got back from running, and you decide that you're gonna post that in general at everyone. Does that impress you too, or do you say no? This guy's crazy.
I think the at everyone already gets you in trouble.
The everyone's already not a good idea, assuming that it works. But let's say that they posted and didn't at everybody. It might be a good idea.
That'll certainly gain you some attention.
You'll definitely know who they are.
Definitely make a name for yourself.
All right. We should probably go back to Viper. Viper, you're going to be our last do not, and then we're going to come up with a comprehensive list of let's actually do this.
Yes.
Okay. So you want to be playing at your best, especially right around draft preseason, early regular season, so that you get picked up and you get rostered. One of the biggest distractions you can have is if you have, a serious relationship like a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Is having a boyfriend or a girlfriend a good idea, or should you nix that to make sure you have optimal Rocket League practice time to make sure you get on it? What do you, as GMs who are in charge of these teams, what do you think of that level of commitment or not commitment, depending on the direction you're looking at?
There's a political answer and an honest answer.
Well, my 2 seasons as a player before I was a GM, no partners, no nothing. I was married to Rocket League. I admire that level of dedication, but please do not break up with your significant others for RSC, just in case anyone was wondering.
Mesmer might have something different to say about that one.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mesmer's ex-girlfriend was pretty much a member of the team on Lightning because we always heard her during games in the background. Usually talking about she didn't care about us.
I will also say that that Mrs. Pickle, well, not quite Mrs. Pickle just yet. Yes, Miss Pickle would frequently make seal noises in the background during games, during crucial moments. She was honestly a part of the team.
She was a key part of that picture. Those seal noises are definitely giving you some motivation to do better.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe that's why Pickle forgot to rotate to defense a few times, because she was busy knocking on the door when he said he was busy during playoffs.
He also had to drive her home at the end of the night, too.
Oh, yeah, so, all right, so significant others, if you have them, you're kind of stuck with them for the moment. Probably not ideal. Well, I guess not.
Use more positive
Also,
terms.
what does Tony think about this?
What does Tony think about
What
this?
does Tony think about this?
I mean, I feel like if you want to make a team, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. You can't just expect to get everything you want. So I think that sometimes you have to make the tough choice.
Piper, this reminds me of
Actually, Tony, this actually hits pretty close to home to you, because I think your brother and your cousin may have had significant others that were less than thrilled about their Rocket League, RSC, and RHL.
I recall a Germ
Right.
story here. I recall specifically, I believe it's your cousin Germs, giving us a story about his wife saying,
Oh,
Are you guys still playing? Are you done yet? He's like, yeah, we're done. Well, that was quick. Yeah, because you don't let us practice ever.
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, because we're taking care of our kid.
Unreasonable expectation.
I know. It's insane. So I've seen how it affected them. So yeah, I just have like a biased view of this one, I guess.
Yeah. So
Tony's lucky because his significant others basically is AGM, right?
Yeah, Cookie. So
Aww.
I did not know that.
yeah, it's getting, it's pretty serious. So
There you go. That's why I'm trying.
nice to work with your loved ones. So
There you go.
There you go.
So if you want to have a significant other, make sure they're
Yeah.
in RSC,
right.
and then your problems are solved.
Unless you have
But
to.
you're not in the same franchise, though.
Yeah, that could cause problems.
All right.
It's like the last match day, matched up against each other. Wins the series, makes playoffs.
Ooh. Yeah, I've seen that happen in fantasy football, and that's bad enough. If anyone watches the league, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Icing on the cake, you dribbled them around the map for the rest of the match instead of actually playing Mesmer style.
Rule one.
Yeah, I'm thinking like catch them and carry them around the map.
Oh boy.
Definitely.
All right. In all seriousness, let's actually get to some useful let's do this for
Yeah.
FA so that, you know, we can provide them with this episode's title, A New Hope. How do you get signed? There's clearly lots of pitfalls out there, you know.
Let me start off so I can take the easy ones before you steal them.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, so if a GM's asking for someone to sub, take that sub. It'll get you stats on the website, which will then all the GMs will see those stats and they can see how you're performing actually in the league. Also, the GM that you sub for is pretty much getting a free tryout of you. So a lot of times I see an FA subs and the GM that's needing a sub has someone who might be unreliable, so they're actually looking for someone already. And they see that that guy played great, so they take them.
All right, Viper, you're next. What do you got for us? What's a good thing to do as a free agent?
Pay attention to the events that are happening. A lot of them are tailored towards free agents, especially early on. And as much as it doesn't seem like, just if you check the Twitch viewership, it might not be very high. People do see you. So I feel like if you have the time and you're able to make some of those like free agent 2v2s or whatever, you know, they can be worth your time to at least get your name out there and people can kind of see what you're about.
All right. As for my one here, you know, I asked earlier about, you know, how do you guys feel about leaving franchise Discord? Well, like RJ was saying, sometimes it's good to have connections. So if you want to stay active in the league, EM, for example, we have a lot more people in that Discord than we definitely have on roster teams. Just because people want to bounce in and play. We run 6-mans on a relatively frequent basis. So if you know any GMs or buddies or friends or anybody who's, you know, in the league, has a team, go play with them. If you got an off, you know, you're not doing anything Monday and Wednesday, so you might as well, you know, find some options to, you know, find some spaces, find time, go play with them. Network a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you do post in general chat, you know, don't break any of the rules because then Tony's going to have to come after you. But, you know, interact with the other members of RSC. There have been plenty of times where I've honestly signed somebody for a sub because I recognize the name without having any clue about how good they are and being super desperate to find a sub because I'm in the hospital and I'm dying. Thank you, Taco Bell.
Thank you, Taco Bell. I was on my couch dying at the same time, so there was no AGM.
Yeah, that was the costliest AM Crunchwrap I've ever had. $2,000 hospital bill later. All right, anyways, I'm going to stop ranting. All right, RJ, what do you got for us? What's a good do for a free agent?
Just be nice. Like, if you're nice in general chat and you show up to, like, play some 6-mans every now and then and go to events, I wouldn't say I have low standards for my players, but I just like people that show up on match days and that are reliable. You don't have to be the best player ever. You just have to be a good person.
I think we all like people who show up on match days.
Oh boy, yes. We do indeed.
We also don't like premier teams that all decide to disappear at the same time.
Also, rip our elite team for forgetting that there was a preseason match day 1.
They had good excuses, though.
Yeah, they just didn't bother to tell anybody.
Yeah.
All right. Tony, I think you're our last. What's a fifth piece of sage advice for becoming, from going to FA to not FA?
I mean, I feel like I got the short end of the stick going last because you guys took all the good ideas.
Well,
Yeah, well,
I could say, like,
we believe in you.
I mean, I'll just highlight the importance of like networking and playing with the people in RSC Discord, because the times that I've needed to get free agents, it's either been like I subbed somebody who subbed for the team and they had a good experience, like we won the games or whatever. other than that, when I need a free agent, the first thing I'll do is I'll go to my team captain and I'll go to the bot and pull up the list of free agents. And I'll say, hey, do you know anybody here that you want me to grab? And, if you're playing around with people and people know who you are, and they're like, yeah, I played with so-and-so and we played pretty good together, and I'm just going to go after them, so.
And also kind of going in with what you said earlier back when we first brought you in, that free agent chat, right? Isn't there a fun bot command where you can actually check in for match days as an available sub?
Right. Yeah.
Make sure to do that.
So if you are an FA, go ahead and do that, or at the very least, if a GM posts in there, hey, I'm looking for a free agent for a prospect, and you happen to be a prospect free agent, like Brave said, that's the time that you can go ahead and slide into those GM DMs and be like, yo, I'm here for you. And if I play well, bonus, you either A, might get signed, or if not by that team, by another team that realizes that their prospect team is now 0-12 and they need to make a change. I'm going to bring that up as kind of our last point question thing for.
I had do not. I just got reminded by you saying that.
All right, we'll save that one for a hot second here.
Yeah.
For while we're on the tangent, at what points during the season do you guys typically look to make changes? When do you get new players, or
like which weeks do you usually, like what weeks would you probably say at this point I need to take a good hard look at my team and decide whether we need to move some people around?
I feel it's usually earlier on in the season than later. So either I guess there's really 2 points that I do it. One is like within the first, I'd say 6 match days, if the team's really struggling, I'll say like, okay, clearly something's not working, a change needs to be made. Mm-hmm. And then the other time I would do it is like leading up to like the transaction deadline, or if I see like, okay, my team's gonna like make the playoffs, but I feel like we might need an extra push to like succeed. If I have like, a team sitting on the fringe, then I might potentially look at making the changes. Although I guess like that could also be a double-edged sword, so you have to be careful. But those are the 2 times I generally do it, outside of having like flaky player or somebody that like gets a new job or something.
Okay. So basically you cut the season in half and you have kind of two Tony transaction windows? Is that?
Yeah, it's either the beginning season struggles or late season like
pushes,
roster boost or something. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, RJ? When well, I was to say, I know when you make roster changes, when your AGM tries to trade the other AGM, the AGM realizes he's being traded.
They're back.
They're both back?
No,
throwback.
Oh, he tried to throw him back. All right, in all seriousness, RJ, when are you making roster moves?
I am making those roster moves right now for 2 of my teams, and I know last season only like 2 of my teams made playoffs, and I ended up moving people right before playoffs so they could have a chance to be on a playoff team their first season in RSC. So it's really this 1 week and playoffs. Other than that, I don't really try to change the teams too much, especially if everyone gets along.
Okay, so
off that statement, all you listeners watching and listening, please go to podcast channel and put in your guess on how many DMs RJ's going to receive after saying that she's looking for players in 2 teams.
Oh boy. Yeah, RJ, I'm really hoping that you don't get a blown up inbox after this goes
but please do guess that number, and I'll ask RJ later to confirm what the actual number is.
Don't worry, I'm used to it. Tony's messaging me right now. God damn it.
You'll get a heartfelt handshake. Please guess above 0 because, yeah, we got a confirmation of 1.
Fun fact, before I became a GM, Tony DM'd me out of nowhere asking to pick me up for his team, and I said no.
Oof.
Yeah, imagine.
How did you take that rejection, Tony?
It was pretty hard. I don't know what to say. I was like so confident. I was just like, I remember RJ from like a season 4 pre-draft party. like, I'm gonna see if she wants to sign with us, because like as a new GM, and I really wanted people to help out in the off season.
Like Reinhardt?
No, he didn't sign the first season either.
Yeah, because he was with us.
We threw the franchise tag at him.
So yeah, I was just like, oh yeah. So I remembered RJ from the party, just DM'd her. I was like, hey, I'm really interested in signing with you. She's like, oh, no thanks. I was like, fine.
Yeah. Well, nothing will quite ever beat the Siru snipe interaction.
There's a command in that Discord, that franchise Discord for that, by the way.
Who are you?
Yeah. If you get the chance, message Siru and ask him what we're talking about. I say our neighbor's not drunk at our window, is he?
What?
Our neighbor's not at the window intoxicated, is he?
Their window's still lit, so they're still going.
Okay.
Okay.
I have interesting neighbors. We'll just put it that way.
Okay.
What was your sort of final do?
Okay. Also happened in the EM Discord. You are a contender player.
Oh no! I know where this is going.
And you feel underappreciated on your contender team. So you wander into the major chat, and you say, "I will 1v1 you for your spot on this team." And then proceed to at the server so that everyone can watch you 1v1 this person in major, who is a grand chap, and you are probably low C1 in a 1v1 in front of the entire franchise. Do you like the cojones on this one, or do you think he's an idiot?
Well, how'd the game go?
That's an appropriate answer.
Yes. You may tell us to say all of the above.
I guess I appreciate the passion and enthusiasm. However, I have learned from experience that when you try and jump 3 to 4 tiers, it doesn't necessarily end well for you. Particularly if the player that you challenge to a 1v1 has a history of getting in a fight with minors.
And you yourself are a minor.
The EM Discord sounds like a big sitcom.
It's great.
We could honestly, this is kind of what inspired the podcast, because the EM Discord is just a chaotic. Well,
it's full of stories, and the teams do pretty well in their very happy / chaotic environment.
Yeah, I don't know how we function as a franchise, to be perfectly honest.
I don't know how we have 2 championships as a franchise.
Well, good luck, Wolfie. All right. Thank goodness. Camera's off, pressure's off. All right.
Fucking die.
What time are we at? Are we?
We're about time. It's time to start to close this down.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, let's shut this down. Let's again not condone the excessive use of alcohol or drugs.
All right. So do not drink excessively. If you're a minor, absolutely do not drink. Don't break the law. We love laws. We love cops. They're great people. Do not drink.
Unless you're in Spain and you then become legal age.
If
And
you
also drink water when you go do that.
don't drink, overdrink, don't binge drink.
All right.
Drink safely if you're drinking.
All right. Anyways, so if you're a free agent, hope's not over. You still have plenty of opportunities. Just keep pushing. Just don't be too pushy.
I have a story to end this on, but first I was going to move RJ and Tony out so that we can do our closing without a cluttered group. So thank you, Tony and RJ, for being on. You did great. Sorry for keeping you up, RJ. I know you're tired.
It's okay.
All right. Get some sleep and good luck.
Yep. Good luck with your seasons.
Thanks for having
Thanks,
us.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. So I have moved them out. So I was going to end with the story of my first season. So my first season with RSC, one, I didn't even remember that I signed up for RSC until I got my message to join the franchise. So I didn't do any combine. So my GM who was Gilbert at the time, great GM, sadly had too much stuff going on in real life, so he couldn't be a GM anymore, but he's still in the Discord, great community member. He signed me, had no combine film on me, so he has nothing on me besides a name and an MR value, probably from salary cap. Anywho's, we go into all our preseason games, and gets down to game 3, and we find out that no one saved replays. So Gib has absolutely nothing on the team to go on, so he decides, okay, I'm going to watch the last match day because this is all I have at this point. Anywho's, some of my teammates got a little bit excited having the GM in the chat and went super aggressive. So I ended up playing really defensive and covering in the holes, but it really does not look good for you when you're staying there back, not pushing up at all, not rotating, just covering the goal because you know that no one's back. So anyways, at the end of that, I ended up getting cut. So I talked to Gibbledew at the end of that, got my feedback from him about how I was playing. I was saying, hey, yeah, I know you saw me playing really defensively. It kind of came down out there playing. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry, but like I have to go off of what I saw. I don't have anything to go on. So anyways, I'm into free agency.
And what happens after you get yeeted into free agency?
So I was in free agency. For my feedback, I knew about the playstyle stuff that he saw was like he didn't like the not rotating stuff, which I had accounted for because of I had been consciously playing that way to cover holes and understood where he's coming from. So I knew that my normal playstyle was probably fine still. And around match night 2, I see Alpha asking for a sub. So I immediately say, oh boy, I can go sub on this, jump on that, offer a sub, get a 2-2 tie on the match night, do some good goals, do some good stats. Go into the next game, and Gibbledew was actually looking for a sub, so I was like, hey man, I can sub for you. He's saying, oh great, I know that you know the team, so he brings me in. We 4-0 sweep. Game right after that, Dravac was messaging me saying, hey, I saw your stats, and I need to fix this team here they have right now. So he ends up signing me into a new team, and that was the team that I stuck with there, Apex Predators, and we ended up turning around the season, going to playoffs, and actually knocking off my old franchise from their division title.
Yeah. So if I guess to close out on, you went from going to a New Hope to Revenge of the Jedi?
Yeah, it was Revenge of the Jedi. We had 2 rival matches against that franchise. I was so hyped for those things. We drew, I think, on the first one. And then the second one, I wasn't able to be there, but I pretty much prepped my team with tactical on all the players on that team, and they swept them 4-0.
Yeah. So everything has a happy ending for some people. And just like half the players from various NFL teams that may or may not get signed on waivers to current Super Bowl contending teams, you know, even if it's late in the season, every GM has different transaction windows that they'll look for, and they'll try and fix teams when they think it's appropriate. I think I tended to do it about 3 times in either thirds or fourths. But anyway, we got to close up here. Thank you guys for being with us. Thanks for sticking with the podcast. We're going to try and improve production quality as we keep going, as we keep adding staff and starting to organize. Until then, it's going to be disorganized, well, mayhem. So
electric mayhem.
Yeah.
20 minutes of gap.
All right. So signing off. I'm a Dead Moose.
I'm a Brave New World.
Viper, you still awake?
He went in the podcast waiting room.
Oh, well, we lost Viper.
Hey, Viper, say bye.
Oh, hello, and then goodbye.
All right. Thanks.
Great co-hosting, and I appreciate you guys bringing me in.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for
See
being
you
with us.
next time, and yeah.
See you next time.